Welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about the quarterbacks in the NFL and specifically who's left in the playoffs, because we know every position matters, but the quarterback position, well, that's everything. Without the quarterback position, you don't move, you don't go forward, you don't change even in the slightest. So who do we trust the most? Who do we trust the least? Who do we think has the chance to be the best players we have? I'm going to give you my top three, but I'm going to go through all the quarterbacks right now because that's what we have to do. Anyone who's left in the picture, because this is before the end of week 18. So we have some teams on the border here, and this is not a 6-7 meme. This is just me throwing my hands because I'm Italian. So let's start with our first one, Drake May. He's a great quarterback. He's talented. His potential is through the roof. He's got everything you would want. He's mobile. He's got an arm. He's got a brain up there, which is very important. His footwork is nice. He's got the ability to throw it to the outsides, hit the mesh, and the drags across the middle. Anything you could think of, he has. The problem is, they're very special this year after going, I think it was like 4 and whatever last year, because their strength of schedule sucks. And that makes for some easy wins, which is good. That's great. That's great for this franchise that they're figuring it out and they're moving forward and they're progressing a little bit. But I can't trust it yet. I can't trust it when you won't use Travion Henderson. I can't trust it when Ramondre Stevenson fumbles all the time. I can't trust it when your wide receivers are trash. Matt Collins should not be a top 3 wide receiver on your team. Look what happened when the Bills made him a top 3 wide receiver on their team. Did they do anything with him? My point exactly. He doesn't have the talent yet. They're getting there. They're moving forward. They're changing around the culture there. They're bringing back the old Patriot way. But I just don't see it for this year because of the lack of experience on this team. So we go from lack of experience to complete experience. Matthew Stafford. The Rams were always my most feared team when it came to my Philadelphia Eagles repeating. And that's because it's Matthew Stafford. The man's been in the game almost as long as I've been alive. He's played, 17 years? He's got a cannon still. He has the ability to dissect defenses like that. Not a problem for him whatsoever. And yet, people are still sleeping on him just a little bit. I don't understand why. Maybe because he's just not super mobile at this age, but who cares? The problem is that he's got a strong defense and a good enough run game, and that's enough to get through in the playoffs. But let's get all that talent that Matthew Stafford has, and let's add Puka Nacua. Let's add Devontae Adams. And let's add Sean McVay, one of the best offensive innovators in the game today. And then we're going to go, and I know it's a tough streak of going, on the road most likely because he's playing from the wild card, but on the road in every single game, it's a little tough. But if anyone could do it, of all the quarterbacks left, Matthew Stafford, who has won a Super Bowl and been mainly the reason why that happened, let's trust in Matthew Stafford. He's definitely going to be in that top 3, but where, you'll find out at the end. Now we move on to last year's MVP, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Josh is probably the best quarterback right now in the NFL. If you were to ask me who the best, most talented quarterback is, it's Josh Allen. He's as strong as a bull, cannon arm. That wind doesn't matter to him. The rain doesn't matter. Snow doesn't matter. He still could do it all. He could run. He could pass. He's dissecting. He's not turning the ball over. He's got a good run game in James Cook. A great pass defense in the Buffalo Bills with Christian Benford and all those guys. The problem? The Bills organization let him down. The Bills organization really ran into this year and said, Khalil Shakir, you're that guy. You're our one. Let's bring back Gabe Davis. Let's bring in AJ and Brandon Cooks, who apparently has to be something to give Josh Allen something down the field. Joshua Palmer, who could barely make it as a wide receiver 3 in the Chargers room, had to lead the way here. They just didn't give him a real chance to succeed, and they failed him in the draft. They have not got, Keon Coleman hasn't gone. They haven't gone out for a trade. They didn't go try to get DK Metcalf. They didn't go trade for George Pickens. They just didn't do what they needed to do. And because of that, I love Josh. And I feel like I could trust him. But in a year where he doesn't have to face Mahomes or Burrow, the organization let him down. That lack of talent around him will make him crumble. Unfortunately, he's not in the top 3 this year. We move into a super talented quarterback facing his own issues. and that's Justin Herbert. He's got a hurt hand. He's got both tackles. I think they're on their third string for both now, but both starting monster tackles are injured this year. An okay run game that really hasn't figured out what they want to do. They have Omarion Hampton. He's got a ton of talent, but we haven't seen it. But the wide receivers really aren't there either. So strong defense, offensive talent around him, and he's going to have to Superman through the game. The problem is he's injured and his line's injured, and he's never been that clutch of a guy. We all remember the 4 interceptions last year, I think, against the Texans. We know that Justin Herbert might just not be that guy. He might be a good 1A, but he's going to need that talent around him. Everything that everybody says about Jalen Hurts, the two people that they always say, Herbert or Hurts. Same thing they say about Hurts. You're going to have to put the Herbert as well. Now, here's another quarterback who's extremely talented. He got a really strong coach. He's got some super talented young wide receivers around him. He's got a decent run game and a defense that thrives off turnovers. Caleb Williams. Not in my top 3, but very close to it. Their inexperience is going to be what stops them this year. But here's the thing. He's super talented. He can make every throw. He can make plays. He's obviously a playmaker like a Mahomes. He's got a decent run game. Luther Burden's kicking into it. Rome Odunze hopefully gets healthy for them. DJ Moore is always a steady talent for them. Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. Like, you can go through the weapons, but Ben Johnson is the big factor here. He can call an offense, and that's fantastic. My concern is that the inexperience of all the players comes up short against teams like the 49ers, against teams like the Rams, against teams like the Eagles, who they did beat this year, but the playoffs are a different story. I just worry that they're going to come up a little short there, and maybe that defense that is turnover, ball-hawking heavy, maybe doesn't get the turnovers that game, and if you don't win the turnovers in the postseason, you just don't win. Here's a team that's going to get you no turnovers because they get you no pressure on defense, and it's why I don't think they could be a Super Bowl contender truly. The San Francisco 49ers have Brock Purdy. Last pick of the draft, we all know the story, blah, 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 blah. He's a fantastic player in his own right. He's been playing well since he's come back from the bye in week 14. He's got some talent around him, obviously CMC. The issue is the talent enough? Is George Kittle healthy? Are the wide receivers good enough? Is Jawan Jennings really your lead guy? Can he really do it? Can Ricky Pearsall stepped up? He hasn't done it yet. So if you're looking at one injury and 2 guys that haven't really stepped up, you're laying a lot on CMC and a lot on a guy who has to then work with a defense that gets no pressure. So he has to be in shootout after shootout after shootout. We've watched that game against the Bears. If he can't throw up 30 that game, which I don't think he'll be able to do against defenses like the Rams or the Eagles, I don't see them winning. So I trust him enough talent-wise. I don't trust him enough because of everything around him. I know you guys are going to see this as a homer pick, but I will put Jalen Hurts up there, up at the top. We all know the offensive woes. If you watch my last video, you know I'm as mad at the Eagles as anybody else. I know I have the shirt on right now, but he's got the most talent around him. He's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got Dallas Goedert. He's got Saquon Barkley. The big things are, can Kevin Patullo get out of his own way? And can the offensive line figure out what issue they're doing right now that is going to cause a problem? Because I haven't seen our offensive line struggle this bad. I talked about it in the last video. Where Tyler Steen's pushing people into Fred Johnson. We got Cam Jurgens missing blocks. We got Landon Dickerson injuries. We got Lane Johnson injuries. Jordan Mailata injured or just not playing as well. I don't really know what's up with him. But we do have something in Jalen Hurts in the sense that he might not be the most talented, but he can turn that son of a bitch on. He could turn it on like Kobe Bryant. He could turn it on like Michael Jordan, who never shut it off. Those 2 guys never shut it off. Jalen Hurts can turn it on and join that group. And he's beat the Mahomeses, the Staffords. He's beat the Lamars. He's beat all the big quarterbacks in the last 2 years. He thrives in big games. So that is somebody who will be in my top 3. We have Stafford. We have Jalen Hurts in my top 3. So we got one more left. But it's not Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love. We could see him going on tears. We watched it a couple years ago. And he's got a lot of talent around him that is good, but not great. Now, Christian Watson has had an amazing year this year. He's one of the top wide receivers. Some of his PFF stats are matching off to George Pickens, which is amazing. I don't see it. Josh Jacobs, which they need to be healthy, is not. I don't know why we got fireworks going off here, but we'll take it. We have issues with the wide receiver core being healthy. Christian Watson himself is hurt. Jordan Love himself is hurt. Missing Tucker Kraft is going to be huge. And missing Micah Parsons on the defense is even bigger because that defense is absolutely atrocious without him. So if there's no defense, then Jordan Love has the Brock Purdy syndrome, where he has to throw up 25, 30 plus a game just to be involved in the game and make it a battle. And I just don't see that happening in every game, especially if they're starting off with the Bears, who love turnovers, or the Eagles, whose defense is strong as could be. I just don't see it for Jordan Love. So does Sam Darnold make my top 3? No. I like Sam, but he's a regular season savant. I'll give him that much. He's got the ability to win games. He's got, 14 wins in 2 straight seasons or 13 wins in 2 straight seasons. It's very hard to do that, but after Jackson Smith and Jigba, what do they really have? Do they have a wide receiver 2, a wide receiver 3? They're all right with Shaheed and Cooper Kupp, but they're not going to blow the doors off you. A.J. Barner, he's not going to blow the doors off you. Elijah Arroyo, they don't even use him. The run game could be amazing, but it's inconsistent. They never figure out what they want to do. Is it Walker? Is it Charbonnet? Are we running up the A, the B, the outside? Are we going to keep it consistent? They got a decent run game, but it depends on what day. Is it decent? Is it not? Do we even know what run game is going to show up? The thing we do know for sure on that team is that their strong defense will show up. So if their defense shows up and Sam Darnold doesn't get panicky because of blitzes through the A-gap, which is his kryptonite, they got a chance to win a game or two. I just think this is the year before the year, if that makes sense. So Sam Darnold, not in my top 3. We now have Bo Nix. I'm sorry I keep coughing. I'm sick. Things happen. He's got the best defense, I think, in the NFL. So it makes it easy. He doesn't have to score 25 plus points a game. The problem is I worry about the weapons around him. Yes, RJ Harvey was a fantasy hammer for the end of the season, but we don't have great wide receivers there. We got Cortland Sutton. We don't really have anybody else. Troy Franklin's okay, and we got Marvin Mims, who has never shown up in the way they needed him to, and they had forgetting the one kid's name, Pat Bryant, but he's dealing with injury, and then Evan Ingram is past his prime. So a lot of it on offense has to lean on the playmaking ability of Bo Nix. And yeah, you can run, you can scramble, which is great, but when he gets in the playmaker ability, the issue is his footwork comes against him. And on a good defense, they might tear that apart. A Texans defense, maybe even a Jaguars defense, could probably pull that apart this year. So I like Bo Nix. I just think they're a little bit short on offensive weapons, and therefore I don't think it's going to be them who represents the AFC. Now, will this next team represent them? We're talking about another team in the Houston Texans with a strong defense. And they got a playmaker in Nico Collins, and CJ Stroud has had moments to show above average play, but I don't see them representing for one reason and one reason only. Even though Jaden Higgins and Nico Collins and Jalen Noel and Woody Marks has even been great, and Dalton Schultz has his moments, that offensive line's too weak. They go up against a team like the Broncos. We watched that game earlier this year. They go up against the Jags. They might struggle there. All they need is a fancy blitz concept, and this offensive line falls apart, and CJ Stroud falls apart. Again, I think they just got to build the line. They'll have a better shot at being in my top 3 of quarterbacks that I could trust. But CJ Stroud, you're just not there yet. We're now looking at Bryce Young, and let's just run through Bryce Young and Baker Mayfield together. Bryce Young's on the Panthers is not going to happen. It's been a nice story, great, good for them, but we're going to move on from that real quick. Baker Mayfield, they have the talent. The problem is they've fallen apart, and when the ship falls apart, well, it falls apart entirely. It sinks. We watched that in 2023 with my Eagles, and now you got an injured quarterback with a shoulder issue. We have aging Mike Evans, aging Chris Godwin. Emeka Ibuka has disappeared, and no one can find him. Cade Otton doesn't really do anything, and Bucky Irvin has just fallen apart since the injury. They don't have it. The NFC South's not representing, so I don't trust either of those guys. So let's move on to another game that's going to decide who's making the playoffs. With the Steelers and the Ravens, we got Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. And with Aaron Rodgers, we have the experience. But we ain't got no talent on that team. DK Metcalf, he can't even play in it. Like, who are they going to throw to? Calvin Austin? Adam Thielen? Darnell Washington? Although I do love him, he cannot be your lead option. So you're going to lean on the running backs. You got Jalen Warren, you got Kenny Gainwell. And I just don't see a team in 2025, 2026 that is going to turn around and lead the charge with 2 running backs, no wide receivers, and play old school 1990 football and somehow win. It's a decent defense. It's just not going to happen, even though Aaron Rodgers is somebody I would trust wholeheartedly, just not with this team. So he didn't make the top 3. Then you go across the field to Lamar Jackson, and I just can't trust him. I can't trust him this year. Yes, he's won 2 MVPs. Yes, he's Lamar Jackson, runs around, is crazy. It looks like he's getting a little healthier here, but he's got no weapons. Outside of Derrick Henry, do you trust any of those weapons to pull it off? Do you trust Zay Flowers? Do you trust Mark Andrews? Do you trust Rashad Bateman? Do you trust old as dust DeAndre Hopkins? You just can't. Maybe you could trust the quarterback. Maybe you could trust the coach. Maybe you could trust the running back. But something's brewing in Baltimore that they're just hanging on because they're talented. So regardless of what team makes it, whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Ravens, I can't trust either of their quarterbacks, which leaves us with one quarterback left, who finishes off my top 3 because it goes Stafford, Hurts, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that's what I think too, Trevor Lawrence. Who would have thought he'd be in the top 3, but he has picked his game up. He has used his mobility, which is very important. It adds a little aspect to the play, and any quarterback that's under Liam Cohen, we watched Baker Mayfield last year, running more opens up the field. Hey, Eagles. Hey, Kevin Patullo. Pay attention to that last statement. Running more opens up the field. Then you look around, you got Brian Thomas. Then you look around, they brought in Jacoby Myers. Then you look around, they still got Parker Washington blowing up. Brenton Strange is a decent tight end. They got Trevor Etienne as their running back. It's incredible. I think what they need to figure out is how to get past the inexperience, because they got a strong defense too. They got a good coach, but everything is inexperience right now. Everything surrounding them is inexperience. So I was going to put Bo Nix here and maybe even Caleb Williams here, but Trevor Lawrence ekes that out just a tiny bit. Just a slight little minute bit, and that little bit, because of the coach that he has, because of the defense on top of it, because I like all 3 of his weapons that are healthy, he's my 3rd most trusted quarterback. So we're looking at Matthew Stafford, most trusted easily, number 1. 2, Jalen Hurts. I mean, the man just wins. He finds a way, and when he gets doubted, he shows up. Look at both Super Bowls. Look at how he's played. If Kevin Patullo just gets out the goddamn way, we'll be fine. Trevor Lawrence. I do think it's going to be a Jaguars Super Bowl. And I can't believe I'm saying that right now, because all year I've been saying Denver, and I might be kicking myself for this, but I think it could be the Jaguars versus the Rams or the Eagles, and 2 of my 3 quarterbacks are going to be in that Super Bowl. That's my prediction. Let me know which quarterbacks that are left in the NFL playoff picture are your most trusted, and we'll talk about it.